the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime
and the SJW district attorneys who don't prosecute the offenders. These are their stories. It appears that Tiffany Cabán has lost the election to be the next district attorney for the Bureau of Queens in New York City. For those of you who are unfamiliar with who Tiffany Cabán is, she is yet another one of these George Soros-backed so-called progressive prosecutors. These types of district attorneys vow not to enforce the law. Cities where these progressive prosecutors end up getting elected have oftentimes seen their law and order collapse, as I've covered regarding the cities Seattle, San Francisco, and Philadelphia on this channel. But it looks like the people of Queens have rejected this. According to the most recent vote tally, the opponent to Tiffany Cabán, Melinda Katz, has pulled ahead by 60 votes. Now, Tiffany Cabán is likely to challenge this result in court, so it's not 100% settled at this point, but it does appear that all of the votes have been counted and that Melinda Katz ended up with majority of the votes. Now, if you want to know how insane of a candidate Tiffany Cabán is, I would point your attention towards this article from the Daily News. This article is a written endorsement of Tiffany Cabán, authored by an actual prostitute. Okay, so the person in the article refers to themselves as a sex worker, but that's just a code word for prostitute. Strippers, for example, do not refer to themselves as sex worker because if they did so, everyone would assume that they are a whore. Instead, they call themselves exotic dancers because everyone knows the phrase sex worker is nothing more than a euphemism for prostitute. So why on earth a district attorney candidate would want a written endorsement published in the newspaper from a prostitute is beyond me. But it's even more absurd if you actually read what this endorsement says. The reason the prostitute wants Tiffany Cabán to be elected is not because Tiffany Cabán might treat prostitutes more leniently. No, the reason that this prostitute wants people to support Tiffany Cabán is that Tiffany Cabán will not prosecute pimps. You know, the men who exploit and traffic women like pieces of property, like human slaves. Can you imagine an episode of Law & Order SVU where Detective Benson busts some creep who's trafficking women for sex, and that after making her collar, the prosecutor's office tells Detective Benson to go fuck off?
Who's she?
I'm the bitch that's gonna smack your pretty face next time I hear you say ho.
Yeah, that's how Queens would work if Tiffany Cabán were elected as the district attorney. Who on earth would want to vote for someone like this? Isn't Queens supposed to be the Bureau of Spider-Man? I can't believe that the election was even that close. So who are all of these people voting for Tiffany Cabán? Well, to find out, why don't we look at this news article? According to this article, it is the hipsters and people who have recently moved to Queens who are largely the ones voting for Tiffany Cabán. Apparently, all of the brown people who live in Queens, immigrants from the Middle East, India, and Central and South America, of which there are many in Queens, apparently these people did not support Tiffany Cabán. The brown people of Queens did not want to live in Satan's playground. The people who support Tiffany Cabán are the rich hipsters. These are the same people that probably don't work in Queens, probably commute into Manhattan, and also probably don't have to deal with these types of problems in their neighborhoods. The idea that these progressive prosecutors are friends to minorities, that by not enforcing the law in minority neighborhoods is going to somehow solve the social problems there, is absolutely insane. Men who traffic women and exploit their bodies to make money are scumbags and need to be prosecuted. It was by the thinnest of margins, but thankfully it appears that the majority of people in Queens still realize this and rejected Tiffany Cabán's bullshit. If you like this video, please subscribe.